One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Fishing today is one of the most popular hobbies in America, but it's also one of the most expensive. Today I'm going to tell you about a hobby that can cut the cost of fishing as well as let you work with tools and your hands. You can do it with your friends or family. Rod building is something that you can do with everybody, and it's something that everyone can enjoy. Today I'm going to tell you the benefits of rod building, the parts that you need to build fishing rods, and the tools that you need to build them as well. First, let's talk about why you would want to build a fishing rod. According to the Department of the Interior, $156 billion was spent on fishing alone in the United States. So, building your own rod is going to be one way that you can cut down on that. So, building a fishing rod is actually pretty cheap. Once you get the rod blank, the guides, and all the parts that you need to build the fishing rod, it's a lot cheaper than going out and buying an expensive brand name fishing rod. And if you want to spend the money on buying your own name brand fishing rod, if you learn how to build your own rods, you could just end up having more instead of just having the more expensive branded name ones. Another cool thing is customization. You can customize the rods however you'd like them. You can pick the color, you can pick the length, you can pick the size, and it's pretty much whatever you want to do to it, you're able to do. Another great benefit is getting outdoors. According to Kathleen Fuegan's scholarly article, going outside and getting in the outdoors is good for your health, it betters your mood, and it increases your energy. Now that you know why you'd want to build a fishing rod, let's talk about the tools that you need to build a fishing rod. According to the Smithsonian, tools have been around for 2.6 billion years. So, now that we have a pretty good idea what kind of tools we use since they've been around for so long, let's talk about the ones that we would use building fishing rods. A wrapper, a hand wrapper or an electric wrapper, is what you use to wrap the thread on the rod as a decorative piece or the thread that you would put on to hold your guides. Now, a hand wrapper is typically used for a smaller fishing rod, less thread used, and a hand wrapper is for the larger fishing rods that you need to do the decorative wraps and the larger thickness rods. The dryer is another important tool, which is used to dry the epoxy that you apply to the thread or any other part of the rod to make it stronger. Typically, when you put it on the dryer, it has to spin very slowly, around 8 rotations per minute, and it leaves a nice, clean, even finish on everything that you epoxy. It takes about 24 hours for the epoxy to cure while it's on the spinner. Other tools that are used are reamers. The reamers are used to cut out the handles on the fishing rods when the thickness of the rod is different, so you have to ream out the inside of the handle to get it to the right thickness. Another tool, a commonly used tool, is a toothbrush or a paintbrush, and that's used to apply the epoxy onto the threads, as well as if you wanted to paint the fishing rod, you can do that as well. Another common tool is the razor blade. Use the razor blade to cut the threads when you're done spinning them. Use them to cut epoxy. There's a lot of different uses for them, and they're handy to have. And then the last important tool is a plastic cup. You got to have a lot of plastic cups when you're building fishing rods to mix epoxy, mix anything that you need to mix to use on your fishing rod. So now that we know the tools, let's talk about the parts of a fishing rod that make a fishing rod. According to Fishing Museum in the UK, fishing rods have been around since 2000 BC. That was the first ever created fishing rod, which was made out of branches of hazel. The fishing line on these fishing rods were made out of horsehair and were up to 6 feet long. So, the most important part of a fishing rod is the blank, which is the full length piece of the rod here, and it is what makes the backbone of the fishing rod. They're made out of carbon fiber, graphite, and fiberglass, just to name a few. Another important part is the reel seat. And this is the reel seat is what connects you to the fish and connects you to the fishing rod. It is very important. You want to get the right size and strength. They make them out of different materials depending on the weight that you want to have for them. So it's a great tool to have, and you want to get familiar with that. The next part is the handle. Obviously the handle is what you hold on to while you're fishing. It gives you different versatile ways to hold the fishing rod while you're fishing, fighting the fish, and it's very important. They're made out of cork, they're made out of foam. You can get them made out of the tennis racket wind grip. So there's a lot of cool different ways to do that. And the last piece are the guides. And the guides are what the line runs through in the fishing rod, and they're really cool. You can have them made out of different materials, different weights, different sizes. There's all kinds of different, you can have double foot, you can have single foot, and it's all really important when you're building the fishing rod that you want to have. So thank you guys for spending time here listening. I hope you guys learned something and you guys want to go out and build your own fishing rod. Thank you for learning about the benefits of building a fishing rod, the tools that are used to build a fishing rod, and the parts that are used to build a fishing rod. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions?
Do you buy different blanks for different size rods?
Yes, so the size of the blank is important for the kind of fishing that you're going to do. So if you're going to fish for smaller fish, you're going to want a lighter action fishing rod. So you're going to want to get a rod that's got a lighter tendency as far as fishing line and lure weight.
What about different eyes for different kinds of reels?
So there's two different kinds of reels. There's a bait caster, conventional, or spinning, and those eyes are a little different. So when you go to buy them, they're specified on the site. The spinning guides are made specifically to get the line through the eye in a circular rotation to get them out of the reel easier.
How do you decide how long of a rod you make?
Depending on the application. If you're going to be on a kayak, say, or if you're wading, you're going to want a shorter rod because you don't want a lot of butt length behind you. You're going to want it shorter, and you're not going to want to hit trees, that kind of stuff. Longer rods are typically used if you're going to be fishing off of piers, fishing in the surf, or if you want to have a longer casting distance.
About how long does it take you to make one?
Typically a fishing rod, if you don't count the drying period, it takes anywhere between 2 to 5 hours, and when you add in the 24 hours for drying, then you're at about 30 hours total. All right, thank you.